Now, relationship between zeros and coefficients of a quadratic polynomial. So we know what a quadratic polynomial is, right? A polynomial of the form ax square plus bx plus c. That is how we write any standard quadratic polynomial. The highest power being 2. Degree 2 is a quadratic polynomial, okay? So, as I had told you earlier, that whatever is the degree of a polynomial, it has those many zeros or solution. So if it is quadratic, means highest degree being 2, it will have 2 zeros. So we assuming the zeros of this quadratic polynomial as alpha and beta. That's the notation. Okay, whenever we talk about quadratic polynomial, and if I write alpha beta, we know we are talking about the zeros of this polynomial, right? Okay, so if these are the zeros, you know from your class 9's knowledge that if you have 0, then we get factors from there. So x minus alpha and x minus beta become the factors of that polynomial. And if we multiply the factors, we should end up getting the polynomial, right? So we had started off with this quadratic polynomial having zeros as alpha and beta. Then these two become its factors. So multiplying this, you get this quadratic polynomial. Fair enough, right? Now multiplying this, so that's x square. Then both were negative, so negative I've taken common. Alpha plus beta times x and alpha into beta. If you multiply these two binomials, this is what you get. Now the other side, dividing this whole equation by a. We have divided this by coefficient of x square. Okay. Now if you compare the two, this is equal to this. So we see a x square here, balanced. Then coefficient of x from here is b by a, and from here is minus alpha plus beta. So comparing, we end up getting alpha plus beta should be minus of b by a. This minus sign has been adjusted here. Then the constant term here is c by a, and here it is alpha beta. Okay. So from here, this is what we get is the relation between the zeros and coefficients. Coefficients were a, b, c, right? That sum of the roots, we call this alpha plus beta, is denoting sum of those two zeros or roots. So sum of zeros is equal to minus times coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. And product of roots, we've multiplied them. Product of roots is the constant term upon the coefficient of x square. So we've got to learn these relationships and we'll be using them further for our solutions. And from here we are getting one more idea, that if we know zeros of a polynomial, then we can also form that polynomial this way. So you may learn this as your standard form for forming a quadratic polynomial if you know its zeros. So if zeros of polynomial are given to you, you can form the quadratic equation straight away as x square minus sum of the zeros times x plus the product of the zeros. Okay, that can be utilized. Then next, children, you also have in your NCERT books this relation for a cubic polynomial. They've also given you a relation for cubic polynomial here, but this is not very frequently asked. In fact, never it has been asked in your board exam. But yes, still if it is given in your NCERT books, then you need to memorize it. You might need it elsewhere also. And it's not a difficult concept at all. Obviously, like for quadratic, I said you have 2 zeros. For a cubic polynomial, you will be having 3 zeros. So those 3 zeros are alpha, beta, and the next third one has been denoted by gamma. Okay, so again the same thing, see, somewhat similar thing. A cubic polynomial, you will take it in the form as ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. So 4 coefficients will come in a, b, c, d in order if you take that. So similar to the previous concept, this is like alpha plus beta plus gamma. That means the sum of 3 roots is minus b by ac. Okay, then next is, there's one more thing, that is the sum of the product of 2 taken together. 2 zeros taken together, alpha beta, then beta gamma, gamma alpha. If you sum up this would be c by a, and then last would be the product of the 3, which would be minus d by a. So if you're seeing, the same idea is being carried forward here as well. Okay, and it's negative, positive, negative, alternately you give those signs to the coefficients there. A, B, C, D. So B negative, C positive, D negative. That way it is going, divided by the highest par's coefficient, right? So it's not difficult to remember, although not very important from examination point of view, but still in NCERT it is given, so I would advise you to keep it in mind.